For those of you who have a Hoover Elite machine, such as this dimension right here, you come to where you have a moment where the vacuum sounds like it's running a little bit louder than it usually is. That could be a possibility that you might have a shattered fan, or a fan that is slowly starting to crack and will probably need to be replaced. Basically, the process what I'm about to show you here is how to replace a fan on a Hoover Elite vacuum. This process will go through all of the Hoover Elite machines, the Dimension, the Legacy, the base model Elites, Elite Supremes, even the older Elite 2s and Elite 350s and all that stuff. So stay tuned, and I'm going to show you how to fix the fan on this.
Alright guys, so I decided to go ahead and fetch my GoPro to kind of give you a much better viewing angle for what it would take to service the fan. I just thought just shooting the video with my phone set up right there in the corner just wouldn't help. So anyway, you're going to want to remove your hose right here, like that. See, there's your little tool port for the cleaning tools. On these Dimensions and the Legacies, they have it permanently mounted in place. That way when you switch it on over the carpetite setting to where it says cleaning tools, all the suction will go through the hose. So one thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to gain access to this little screw back here that holds the motor unit onto the base. Now, one way to remove it is, let me go ahead and get myself my screw right here, a screwdriver, excuse me. Oop. See, you're going to have to use a Phillips head screw for this. The one thing you're going to want to do is make sure the unit is unplugged, turn the power switch to on, and then get down to where the screw is, loosen that. Now there is a small little nut that's going to fall out the back. Make sure you put your hand on the back to catch it. Then you'll remove the screw that holds the base to the motor. I like to screw these together so I don't lose them. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is hold down on the vacuum head and the motor and pull the base unit off like so. And now the next thing you're going to do is remove this top hood assembly. Now you're going to want to take your carpetite adjustment knob and set it to the side. Pull on the side of the hood on both sides, and it just pops off. Now the next thing you're going to do is remove the belt from the motor shaft. Remove these two screws for the motor mounts that hold the motor down in place so it's not unsteady. Alright, and just set those to the side for right now. Let me go ahead and get the other side. And on the Legacy, Dimension, and even some of the Soft Guard series, you're going to have to remove a third screw right here, which holds the mount for the hose. And you pull that off, and then recline it back, and then out comes your motor. Now right here is a little dust seal that mounts right here and makes a good seal so dirt isn't spewing out. So now to gain access to the fan chamber, you're going to want to remove this rubber gasket that seals the base of the vacuum to to the motor unit. And then you're going to want to remove the 4 screws that hold the fan chamber housing in place. And pull off the cover for the fan chamber. It's always a good rule of thumb to keep your screws together. The fan doesn't look to be in terrible shape. Usually I've seen these fans in worse condition where the blades are practically chewed up from just day-to-day use and neglect. But over time there are some occasional hairline cracks that tend to develop near the blades of the fan, and usually it will cause that louder than average whirring noise to occur, and then you'll eventually have to change your fan out. So now to get the fan off, you're going to want to hold the motor shaft in place like this, and this is a left-hand thread. I would like to point that out. And then off comes the fan. I'm going to show you it right next to the newer counterpart. Like I said, this here is the original fan. Wow, it's seen a lot of use and neglect. But this is the older 7-blade style fan that were used on these Elites from, like, I think it was probably like 92 to like about 98 or something. Anything that has, I think, either a 6 amp, 7 amp, or 7.2, 7.3 amp motor have all used this style fan. It works pretty good, but it doesn't flow nearly as much air as this 20-blade fan that's actually commonly found in the 8 amp commercial Elite and even some of the 12 amp Elite style Hoovers. This will definitely work out very well as an upgrade for this. It basically threads on in place, just the same way the old one came off. Be sure to hold your pipe wrench in place, tighten down the screw, or tighten down the fan. Now don't over tighten it. You don't want to strip out the threads in the fan, which one thing I do like about these fans, you may not be able to see in the old fan, but there's actually a metal nut that's mounted inside the plastic of the fan blades in order to prevent any further damage to plastic, which plastic threads will easily strip out. So it's a nice thing that Hoover included those little metal blades right here. So anyway, basically, now that the new fan blade is on, it's basically a reverse process for how you took the vacuum apart. And before I cut away and put everything back, I would like to point out one thing I found out, that I've heard that this fan blade actually changes up the sound of the motor in these vacuums. This is the same fan blade that they already did the conversion in my green Hoover Elite Supreme. I'll link the video to that vacuum in the description box, but they have already put in this new fan blade, and it sounds a lot different than my other 7.2 amp Hoover Preferred, which that'll also be a link in the description box for cross-reference. I even have a video comparing the 7.2 amp Preferred and Elite Supreme motor to that Hoover Preferred over there that's currently torn apart, waiting for a new cord, which that one has the 12 amp motor with this style fan blade, and it compares to the 7.2 amp Preferred with the original 7-blade fan, and the Elite Supreme, in the green Elite Supreme with the 7.2 amp motor, but with the 12-blade, 20-blade fan. So anyway, I'll link those videos in the description box, and I'll go ahead and cut away and show you the end results to this newly fixed Hoover dimension with a new fan blade.
Alright, now that everything is put back together, the only thing left to do is to turn it on and test it. But before I do that, one good rule of thumb I would like to share with you, that when you're putting this thing back together, when you set the base down on the motor unit, after it's set on, I find it a good thing to turn the power switch off, just so it doesn't go anywhere. Recline the vacuum back, then attach the screw. Good thing to hold the nut down there until the screw threads in all the way. Now, I would like to point out, you shouldn't over tighten the screws. You could run the risk of stripping out the plastic threads, because most of the parts here are plastic on plastic. Not a very good combo, but it is what it is. So don't over tighten it, or you'll run the risk of stripping out the plastic threads. So anyway, I'll go ahead and cut away and show you this vacuum running with its freshly new installed fan impeller. Alright, now that it's all plugged in, I'll go ahead and turn it on and see how it sounds with this upgraded fan impeller. And I'll go ahead and insert a before and after clip to show you how the vacuum sounds with different fan impellers. Alright, all I could say is the new fan was a complete success. However, the only noise I can hear now, most of it, is that noisy brush roll. But other than that, it did change up the sound of the motor pretty good. Sounds a lot more quieter. In fact, the brush roll is now more noisy than it is. But that could be another project. I might need to rebuild that one of these days. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the fan swap, or upgrade the fan, and how to upgrade the fan, I should say. I'm getting tongue-tied here. On your Hoover Elite vacuum. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.